What's up, guys?
What's going on, brother?
How are y'all?
Good, man. Good.
So you and I have known each other a long time.
Yeah.
A good 10 plus years, I feel
easily.
like. And then, how about you, man?
Well, we're just meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
But I've known this guy since I was in high school.
Okay.
So he was a friend of mine's growing up, older brother.
Got you.
And he joined the Army right after he graduated high school. Had a big inspiration for me getting in.
Okay. Cool. And so how did you guys, give me the origin of how you guys got into this shooting game?
So like the origin story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Obviously knowing each other, I got him into the military. I actually enlisted my brother, him, and another friend.
Was they like paying you to do this or something?
No, they were. The guard was, yeah.
Okay.
But it was like a little, what do they call that, G-Rap or whatever?
Yeah.
So anyway, I got them in. And then once they got in, it was a couple years later, he ended up getting on the fire department. So we ended up working on the fire department together, and we were in the military together. Then I ended up getting out of the military. I just needed a break. I had a lot of stuff going on. He stayed in, and he ended up working his way into a sniper section. So he hits me up on the fire department one day, and he's like, "Hey man, I just got in the sniper section. You know, you got to think about coming back. Maybe you get into it." So I was like, "Nah, I'll think about it." I didn't think too long. Signed back up. It took me about 2 years to work my way, because it's not something you just sign up and you're a sniper, right? So I had to earn my keep, make it to the section, go to school. And so while we had already kind of started shooting together with like Remington 700s and Savage 110s, just plinking around, not really knowing what we're doing. Well, while I was at school, there was a thing called, one of the instructors was talking about Mammoth Sniper Challenge, which Dan Arnett had talked about.
Yeah.
Right, so I'd heard about that, and I went back to Ben after I graduated school, and I was like, "Hey man, we had to look into this competition." So we were already shooting PRS, which Dan has shot too, but we've shot for a while, which is just individual, right? So it's just individual marksmanship stuff. So we just decided to go do this Mammoth thing, and it was the first team competition we'd ever done, but it was extremely rough. What do we get on that?
Oh man, it was bad.
It was like 18th place, I think.
Out of how many teams?
Out of
the finishing amount,
80, 60 days.
maybe 60
That's
to
not
80.
horrible then, man. Come on, dude.
I know, it's not bad.
I mean, if you feel like you're better and you just had some setbacks.
I'll say this though. So the military does a really good job at giving you an ego, right? They need you to have it, right?
Gotta have it.
So when you go to these things, starting off, I've become a lot more humble, and he can tell you about it too with PRS and getting beat by 14-year-old farmer girls. So like it happens, like it's happened to both of us.
Yeah.
So
Still happens.
yeah, it still happens.
It still happens.
But you know, you get into it, you show up, and you're like, man, we're a sniper team. You know, we're military, blah blah. Just you kind of put yourself on this pedestal, and when you get slapped down a little bit, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I need to work on myself, right? So, but anyway, from shooting competitively there, we just started. We ended up doing military competitions too. So the first military competition we did was called the Winston P. Wilson. It's hosted by the National Guard, but it's like the Army, the International Sniper Competition, right? So, and we can talk about that in a little bit, but the International Sniper Competition is like the Super Bowl for snipers. It's across the world. The Guards version is the same, but they don't invite active duty components for the most part. Now you'll get like Navy SEALs.
Why is that?
Just don't have the room and the funding.
Gotcha.
So we have international teams that come, and we invite special forces teams.
But these are all people who are active military.
Yes.
Yes.
Some,
there's
some,
no civilians.
some
they're
country.
in the Guard. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So a lot of those guys are active duty.
Okay.
So like your foreign teams are usually active duty. And you'll have, we typically give out slots to like Navy SEALs, Ranger Regiment, different teams like that. So we still get some of the elite teams there for the guys, the Guard guys to learn off of. Well, when we shot that the first time, well, the only time really, but we went into it and we had been shooting PRS, we'd shot Mammoth, we knew how to operate it as a team. And so we ended up shooting it and winning the whole thing. And so one of our former instructors, I know he remembers the call, like he was one of both of our instructors. He called us and he said, "You boys put on your best uniform. You guys won the whole damn thing." So we were just, man, we couldn't.
What year was this?
19.
19.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like April 2019.
Yeah. And,
We shot mammoth for that first time that January.
How long have y'all been shooting together this time?
at this point right now.
No, I'm talking about at the time of winning.
What do you think? A year?
Oh, no.
Maybe.
We started shooting before you went to sniper school.
So that'd be
2000
2017.
It was like a Facebook memory, like 2015 or 16.
Okay.
We went out to Long Range Alley, and
Yeah, that was with
we
the
both
old
had terrible guns.
yeah, vortex
terrible,
scopes.
yeah, terrible.
Oh yeah, man, that's a good one.
Yeah.
There's people that'll tell you that.
Yeah, but you know that winning that competition just put us on a trajectory of things that we never really thought were possible. So when we won, we were talking to that instructor at the banquet, and he was like, "Man, if there's anything I never do for you guys, please let me know." So we were like, "What about a job?" And he was like, "You guys want to work at the sniper schoolhouse?" We were like, "Absolutely, we do." So that ended up coming to fruition. We ended up going to England not long after that competition, shooting in England at the Tri-Service, and we shot the international sniper competition. The one I was telling you is like Super Bowl 2 years ago, and won that our first time going. So I was like, so
Well, what do you do now from there, bro?
More. We got one more, right?
We got one more,
we've got one
hill
more
to climb?
military. So like,
Got you.
if the Super Bowl, if the ISC is like the Super Bowl of sniper competitions, the USASOC is like the invitation only,
Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
So USASOC is the United States Special Operations Command competition. So only your SF guys, your Ranger Regiment guys, all your elite top tier guys get to go. But we've made a lot of connections throughout the years with all of those people, and so we're really pushing for it. I think this year will be the year, but if we can win that one, I think that'll be the feather in the hat for like. There's no more military competitions. At
Yeah,
that
that'd
point.
be the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
So
but
tell
it's-
me. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's invitation only. Like the U.S. counterparts are special operations only. So we have to, whoever's running the match has to bless off on us going. But hopefully that happens.
And the way that they're trying to do that, the people that are trying to help us, is that we're a schoolhouse, they're a schoolhouse. So like we put on a competition, they put on a competition, the active duty component schoolhouse puts on a competition. We all go to each other's, except we're not allowed to go to the USASOC one, right? So what they're trying to
Gotcha.
do is trying to like, hey man, they're trying to tell their command, we go to their competitions and they've won ours 3 or 4 times. We should let them come to ours.
Right.
And all the guys that work there, like they're great people. Nobody's trying really to gatekeep, I don't think. It's just the military's weird.
That's how it's
sometimes.
structured.
It is.
And it takes a lot of red tape to
It
change
does,
something.
man. It does.
Well, so like you say schoolhouse, so you guys, you're talking about a training facility, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is training active duty military.
We do. We train. So at where we work at the National Guard Schoolhouse in North Little Rock, and we train Guard, active, and honestly, we've trained Navy SEALs, Air Force.
So what's interesting is, so you guys getting into this, you got back in the military. He was active, and you were just in sniper school at that time. And you were just, is this something like you decided to sign up for?
Well, they did away with my job, and
Okay.
they moved it down to New Orleans, and I was looking for somewhere else to go. So I was like, I'm going to try to get into snipers. So
And
it
that
ended
was
up
just
working
get into
out.
it as being an occupation, right?
Yeah, just an occupation.
Right. And so you got into that, were you deployed and actually operational too? Or how does that work?
Not yet.
Okay.
I haven't deployed as a sniper
Right.
since getting my certificate.
Right.
Like GWAT kind of wound down after
Gotcha.
we became snipers. So
Gotcha.
we've both been overseas and in combat.
Yeah, I've already done that before.
early
Others,
days.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Just not on a sniper rifle.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the infrastructure of everything we have. I mean, going on in our government's changed too
Yeah.
significantly to where there's not. I'm sure not as many deployed here and there
Not
that we know about.
Not
I guess.
that, not that you know about.
Yeah, that I know about.
We
yeah.
know about some.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is too, honestly, in the current climate that we're in, with drones and all that,
Yeah.
I got to be honest. Like,
Feel like you're taking your job.
I don't think it's taking my job. I think it might take me out.
Oh, yeah, that
My
too.
job.
Yeah.
So of course we've got them too. I mean, there's a lot of things. So there are things that me and him know about that exist that the public don't know about.
Of course.
Right? But those things that we get to know about are 5 or 10 years old. So the things that they really have, I have no idea.
Right.
Like we're far more advanced. I don't think we're as behind the curve as a lot of people think.
Well, yeah, because if we knew what was going on, what would be the point of having it in the first place, right? We're always going to be the last to know, especially me as a civilian, right?
Yeah, right.
But well, so like, what length of winning these competitions? How far are we talking, like shot wise? Like I know there's we talked about it before. Like I know there's different elements and different things like that, but just like longest shot, like what does that look like?
So we're about to find that out here
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to it's called the Night Force ELR match. It's in Wyoming, and it ranges. What's the ranges on that, Ben?
The match description said 700 to 2,200 yards.
Yeah. So
that's a huge gap.
It's huge. Yeah. So much further than we have engaged targets out that far before, but that's this whole scheme.
And shooting in what?
We're shooting a 300 Norma mag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the new. I say new. It's the newer weapon system for the Army. It's the Mark 22, and it has a multi-barrel system, so it can shoot 300 Win Mag, 300 Norma Mag.
Well, let's look at it real quick.
Yeah. So that's right over here. Throw it up.
We can pull it out, man. We're not in a hurry, but you can tell me about it as he's getting it up here.
Yeah. So we've had this system for I think going on 2 years now. We actually ran this at ISC, so it'd be 3 years, because we ran it at International Sniper Comp, and I think at the time.
You're good.
During that, I think that we probably had more rounds on this thing than anybody, other than testing wise. It does have its flaws, but overall, it's a great system. I mean, it works for what we do.
Is this like you all required to use the same? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So now, not for this competition,
but in active. Military competition.
Oh yeah, no, they ain't gonna let me ship my personal rifle.
Right, so you're not shooting this.
Nope.
Right.
No, I would shoot this.
You shoot this, but you're not shooting your personal. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So this is not ours. This actually belongs to the military.
Okay, got you.
Because of what we do. So not only we talked about working at the schoolhouse and both being firemen and all that. One of the other things is we're both on the National Guard Marksmanship Training Center's All Guard team. There's only 6 of us that are on the sniper team. So they have a bunch of different things that they do, but we make up 2 of the 6, and they pay us to travel around the country or sometimes internationally to go shoot competitions and represent the National Guard.
Gotcha.
Which is awesome. So, and that's actually what we're about to go do on Thursday. We're leaving to go to that Night Force CLR match to represent. So
this will be different than what you guys are doing in like shooting like mammoth and stuff like that.
Yeah, but honestly, sometimes they represent that too. So
okay.
What happens is it doesn't have to be military specific. It just has to have a return on investment, right? So the key for us to go to these matches is that, number one, we learn every time we go, we bring it back, and we teach sniper students, right? So when we make mistakes or we see flaws with something, there's a return on investment there for the military. Not only that, but us going and representing everybody that's with us knows, hey, these guys are Army snipers. They work at the schoolhouse. They represent the All Guard team. So there's a certain level of that we have to live up to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's honestly an honor and a privilege. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it's amazing because I didn't realize the depth of I just knew what you were doing, but even I didn't realize the depth of everything that came with it too. Yeah. Now on these competitions, are we just setting up and shooting stationary?
No.
So we're creating like real world scenarios here, real combat scenarios.
Yeah, right. So this one won't
just so people understand.
Yeah, no. So this one won't be. This one will be a long range deal. So it's like PRS for long range. It's basically what it is. So actually, it's less PRS. It's all prone shooting, right? So, but a lot of what we typically like to shoot are matches like Real World Sniper Challenge, which is my favorite. I think it's Ben's favorite too. Nick Goff does an excellent job with that match. Dan shot it multiple times. And it is, so he's a former 75th Ranger guy. And then Josh with him is a former group guy. And they design something that is extremely realistic. and it's. I think we've shot it 7 times, maybe more than that.
Maybe
it's
8.
always different. Like, usually you kind of come back and they keep this. They have never kept anything that I can ever find. Because you always feel like maybe I'll get a leg up. They kept this.
I saw this again.
Yeah, we shot mammoth 3 years in a row, and I mean they changed it 10%.
Which as they should too, probably, right?
Right.
I mean, if you're trying to continue to keep everyone have their competitive edge,
Right. Well, and so I think the thing about his matches too, it's not just military, it's civilian as well. But what he does that's unique is he takes. So we talked about all these matches that the military puts together, right? He takes the winner from the WPW that the Guard hosts, the ISC, the USASOC, the winner of Mammoth, the winner of all the real world matches, because he hosts like 3 or 4 a year. So the winners of all those, and then he'll pick out some other competitions, and he brings them all together for a finale. So you literally got the best in the world that you're shooting against, and it's a blast, and it's tough, man.
He's the only guy to do that.
Yeah.
I don't. As a private entity, to get all the heavy hitters in the country that year in their prime, and we'll be going to that in September.
Yep. So we'll be going in September and look forward to it. Hopefully we don't make some. We've made some crucial errors at some finales before, just right out the gate. -500. And you're like, oh man, I'm not coming back from this.
Well, tell me how it works. Well, first off, do you do any? Is it everything's long range, right? Everything you're doing is long range.
Well, no. So they do pistol too. So like,
Lot of pistols.
Do y'all participate in pistols?
Yep.
Too? Okay, so you do. Okay.
So you may have, let's say you may have a stage with hostage targets, right? So you've got at 500, you've got a IPSC, and then you've got a 10-inch plate off to the side, right? And it's partially obscured. Well, what you may have to do is clear some pistol targets. So you engage some pistol targets. Maybe you got to run to the second floor, and he has the target colors that I've got to shoot, but he's on a different floor. So he's radioing to me, walking me onto the targets, or vice versa. I mean, there's been times before where we had he has a guy, what is it, Tom, that does the medical stuff.
Yeah, Tom Rader.
Yeah, and so Tom does they teach you something at these matches every time, whether it be medical. They've taught us how to pick locks. They've taught us how to program radios. And so, I may have to pick a lock to a door while Ben's engaging targets. And maybe I'm just like, I can't get it. And I'm like, dude, take my mags too. Because you have to really think outside the box and be flexible. But I appreciate that about his matches, that, I'm either packing a wound on Tom Rader, or I'm trying to pick a lock, and so I learned some real world applicable skills, and it's actually been beneficial at the fire department too, because if I forget my key to the locker, or A shift's got some ketchup, but it's
I'm not going to incriminate myself. Go ahead. Those lock picks that he gave us at that match have been used. He has some wear marks.
Well, I had Colton. I don't know if you know Colton Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I had Colton on it. We talked about, he's done firearms training,
he's
just
great,
instructor, but I think he's more all like pistol stuff. I would assume, not long range stuff. But we had talked about some stuff, stuff he's actually done while being deployed, and some different things, like that. And some stuff we couldn't talk about on here.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm fascinated by the world, because I always grew up as a guy who just I really love shooting like long range, but it's always for big game stuff, right? And then it just got to where and Dan he's like, dude, you just got to come shoot me. I was like, I know, but I was like, I don't have room for one more hobby right now.
I was about to tell you, you better be careful.
I know, because it's like I'm already consumed with what I have going on, but I got so bored of hunting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this seems like it's amazing, but man, like being, not only you doing it for a sport, but also doing it representing the country, and doing it, and training people who are using these skills in real time.
I got something you ought to look into. I think it'll be, you could do the long range stuff no problem, but knowing how you are as physical fitness wise, have you ever heard of tactical games? Tactical games would be right up your alley, dude.
I know, it looks crazy. That way you can kill 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. I know. Yeah. I need to talk to Dan about that.
Yeah.
I can get him to sign up.
Oh, you absolutely could get him to sign up.
I don't know why he hasn't looked into that. He would dominate. There's a lot of people that are mediocre shooters that are in phenomenal shape, and Dan's the best of both. So.
Yeah.
Dan's not in good shape. What are you talking about?
He just can run far.
I just ran with him yesterday. No, he's in great shape.
Yeah.
he just doesn't give a shit what he looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
That dude, he's a sleeper, bro. I'm telling you. If you just see him sitting in the crowd,
Oh, he doesn't look strong.
Dude, you wouldn't know it. That dude has. I mean, he'll drag you to hell for sure. Like,
Yep, 100%. He's a nice guy, but he's got that mean streak to him if he has.
Oh yeah, man. And like I said, I think we all have that in common is that we're just idiots when it comes to like
100%.
something we want to do and just like, hey man, I can't quit and I got to give it everything I can.
I know.
But so tell me, I guess, more about what that layout looks like. So specifically, like, how did y'all do a mammoth this last time around?
So we haven't shot mammoth in a couple years.
Okay, so you didn't do this most recent one Dan did. Okay.
We've done 3 of them. We got the 18th, we got 5th, and then I think
6th.
5th and 6th.
Well,
Okay.
I think we tied for 5th, but
What did Dan get this most recent time?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. I know it was.
he got 5th.
He got fifth.
Yeah,
Okay.
he got fifth.
Okay.
It's just after shooting it 3 times, so we're considering shooting it again because they've moved venues, so we know it's changed. But like we shot it 3 times, it never changed. We were 18th, 5th, 6th. We were like, all right, man, let's move on to something else.
Gotcha.
You know this because the thing about mammoth is day 1, right? So you're walking 30 miles,
Yeah.
hands down. You're
Yeah.
walking 30 miles, right?
Minimum.
So when you shoot that first stage and you blow it, and you're like,
You got to walk 30 miles.
I have 30 miles. I'm not going to win.
To think
and
about
I
this
have
shit.
30
3
miles
days.
to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 days.
It's
yeah.
just
2
it's
nights
so
in the field.
miserable.
Yeah.
We're considering it because they've moved it to Chaffee up in Arkansas, and so we'll see. I think we've got it. Right now, our focus is on the real world finale in USASOC.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And then we're working on like a side business venture of ourselves because we both only have roughly about 3 to 3.5 years left in the military. So we've been pouring some of our time into getting some stuff going.
Well, what about, tell me the team dynamic and how it works. Like, so, like, each one of you, what's your position and how that works, like, in most of these competitions, I guess?
Well, I mean, there's no shooter and spotter.
Well, that's what everyone thinks, right?
That's what everyone thinks.
Oh, don't I know it.
I know. Because Alan is the stronger spotter. He sees more on the big glass than I do, and I'm a stronger shooter. So typically, I will shoot what needs to be shot, but that's not saying that Alan can't shoot. He's just better at making wind calls. He's better at finding targets, and I spend a lot of time, dry firing at my house. So we each have our strengths. It doesn't mean that he can't do what I do, but a lot of times I'm photographed on the gun and he's photographed behind me, and people always asking, when is it going to be your turn?
When do you get to be the
Yeah.
sniper? But the thing is, I used to let that bother me. But here's the thing: when you're a team, you have to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are. And if there's a target at 8:25 and we've got 30 seconds and one of us has to take the shot, I'm passing it to this dude.
Yeah.
Because I just know how much more time he puts in at his own house, on his personal time and going to he probably doubles or triples the amount of time that I actually spend on the range. I don't want to say I'm naturally good at shooting, but I feel like once I've got it, I've got it. Who knows how good I'd be if I spent as much time as he did, right? But I know that I'm passing that shot off to him. I'm not going to be selfish and take it because I don't want that guilt on me either when I miss it. But
He actually fired the match-winning shot at the ISC.
that is true.
The plan was for me to come out and shoot it, and he was just going to send a round at it to get the win call because he only had 2 rounds,
yeah.
and I had 2 rounds. So he was going to send his 2 to get the wind and the speed of the target, and he ended up hitting it with his first round.
Yeah.
And so, you can't discount what he's actually capable of.
Well, that's the thing too. Like we both, there are times where in these competitions.
How far out was that?
Oh, it was a moving target at
Okay.
800 meters.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
about almost 880 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is far. It is low. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you this with the ELR stuff that we're about to go do. You get a first round impact on something like that, there's some luck involved, right? I mean, like, you're skilled to make a wind call, but if you're going to smack a target at 2,000 first round in 14-mile-an-hour winds, like, there's some luck involved. You just made a good guess.
It's not all intuition.
Right.
We're all doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already have kind of the set skills. Now it's just like, okay.
Right. Well, and, you know.
They call it swag.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scientific wild-ass guess.
For sure. That's what it is.
Yeah. Some people can swag a little bit better than others, depending on how much time they spend on a spot and scope or a gun, you know.
And I think that's what helps us with these competitions is working at the schoolhouse. So when we're teaching students, I mean, we're on glass all day. I'm just constantly watching them, hearing them make a wind call, knowing that it's going to miss, waiting them for them to make a correction, seeing it. So all we're doing when we're working up there is see and trace nonstop.
Yeah.
And so we build up a lot of our skill set just with teaching as well. So.
Well, people are going to be gun fanatics and ask kind of like a little bit more specifics about the scope setup and all that. Do y'all want to get into that some? Because I know someone's going to say something in the comments
ahead,
or whatever.
This is Ben's rig right here.
So this is my rifle that we're taking to the ELR match. It's a Barrett MRAD. The Army nomenclature for it's a Mark 22. It's the new Army sniper rifle that we have. We used to have a gun for every type of bullet we would shoot. With this one here, it's got these 2 screws at the bottom. You just loosen these 2 screws and the barrel slides out. And you slide a new barrel in and a new bolt face and magazine, and it's a completely different rifle.
What different calibers are you shooting? You said 300 and then...
We have 338 Norma mag, 300 Norma mag, which this is set up for right now, and then 7.62 by 51 NATO, which is
What's the difference in the 300 Norma mag and the 300 Win mag?
A much larger case.
Okay.
So the bullet weights are about the same of a competitive 300 Win mag, but it's probably got maybe 20% more case volume.
Okay.
It's shooting a 215 grain bullet at 3,070 feet per second, and the mark
a lot of weight moving that quick.
It is.
The mark of long range shooting is a good long range shooter can hit his intended target as long as the bullet's supersonic, and this bullet stays supersonic out to 1,500 yards.
Man.
So, which is better than the 308, which ran out of gas at about 800 yards.
Yeah.
So you can still hit farther than that. It's just a lot more stuff affects it after it reduces past the speed of sound.
Yeah.
On top of it is a Night Force ATACR. It's issued with a Leopold, and Leopold's a perfectly fine scope. We just think the ATACRs are a little bit better, and we have access to them with our status on the team, so we use those. And that one's a 7-35. But pretty, it's people have probably seen some.
I don't ever think I've looked through 35 power before that gets out there. So
it's a lot. We don't use it a lot either, but it's great for.
I think 24 is the furthest I've ever peered through, I believe.
Yeah.
It's like just because you have 400 horsepower in your car doesn't mean you use all 400 all the time. But a 400 horsepower car is going to get up and go a lot faster than a 200 horsepower car.
For sure.
So if it's a 7-35, I typically stay between 15 and 20. 20 is going to look a lot better on this optic than it would on a scope that maxed out at 20. So
and what about like the reticle and all that stuff? Like,
it's a Horus Trimmer 3.
Okay.
So it's a grid style reticle. It kind of looks like a Christmas tree. It has mill holdovers and it has wind dots that go through it. So once you find your wind hold for the dot, it graduates all the way down the side, and you can talk in mile per
wind
hour.
dots. Yeah.
is that your standard like reticle y'all you like to shoot or?
No. So a lot of things with the military, they use Horus, but the Trimmer 3 is something that we kind of started working with when we went to ISC, because I think we were issued ATACRs, weren't we there?
Mm-hmm.
And so
we first got them.
It kind of helped us figure out. So basically, like we have a ballistic solver. Yeah, there we go. Ballistic solver, a Kestrel, right? We can kind of tweak it to where it'll tell us what those wind dots equal in mile per hour, and we can start talking in mile per hour even if we're running different calibers, if that makes sense.
Right.
So
you're shooting 308, I'm shooting Norma mag, and every one of my dots is calibrated for 5 mile an hour wind, and his is 3.
Right.
And so if I hold at 1 dot, I can tell him, hey, I'm at 5 mile an hour wind,
Right.
and then
So
he can.
now I know I can't hold that 3 mile an hour dot, but I can hold maybe another dot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it helps us to be able to talk, because 0.3 for him wouldn't be 0.3 for me.
Right.
So it just helps us. To us, it's a learning curve, and it looks really complicated to a lot of people. Of course, you've shot. I mean, I'm sure you shoot a lot, and you've seen different things. But most people are used to a standard duplex.
Yeah, I've never used one like that.
Yeah,
But I know what you're talking about. I've seen it.
Yeah, and so they look confusing, and I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes we get away from them, depending upon what we're doing, and go with like a Mill XT, which is a little bit more dumbed down, just because I don't need all that. So we have multiple scopes that we maybe change out, but we've grown to like this for military style competitions for sure.
What do you like? Just bear sight one of these things in it? Like, is that even a conversation? Like,
Yeah,
what range? Like
100 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so 100 yards,
Yep.
and then you just build your metrics on that.
Well, so you'll true it, right? So like
Yeah.
I was talking about with that solver, we'll figure out what our truing distance is, and we'll go out to that once we've zeroed it and confirm. Because you can do one of two things. A lot of people use like something to check their muzzle velocity, whether it be that new Garmin or a Doppler or what's that other thing we use at the schoolhouse?
Magneto speed.
Magneto speed, right? And that'll give you your muzzle velocity. Or the box might tell you, hey, this is your muzzle velocity. It's
That's
not really
right.
your muzzle velocity.
It's almost never right.
It's never right.
Well,
So-
it's got to be put on the actual weapon, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that, or, even when you do that, if the magneto speed says you're running at 3,000 feet per second and you should hold, 8.2, and then you hit it at 8, you can put it in that ballistic solver and go, hey man, I thought my muzzle velocity was this, but I actually hit it with that. All it does is it tells the system, hey, this is what we really did, so it wipes it all out. Like
Okay.
it changes everything to the correct muzzle velocity, because no matter what a computer says, what that bullet does is what matters.
Yeah.
Computer's a prediction, right?
Yep, that's all it is.
So
Well, what about like spotting? Like, what do your optics look like there, and how does that work?
So I have two. I actually have. I've got a Leopold that I use 99% of the time. It's the same one we have at the schoolhouse, except I bought mine. And then I have another one. I'm bringing that. I didn't even tell you, but I'm bringing that.
Swarovski.
Yeah, the Swarovski.
That's a play
It's
there.
just a lot better glass.
That's a good
Yeah.
good brand.
Yeah. And so we're going to need that for this match, because we're shooting. I've just never been here. I've never shot this match, and I know that we're going to need clarity and we need help with mirage, depending upon how bad it is. So, and that has a lot more power to it as well.
big optic too.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the smaller an optic is, you can't really get. It doesn't matter how good a glass it is.
Yeah.
It's got to gather light. That's to direct the image. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a wonder too, because there's always arguments about the size of the scope too, not just the power, but the actual size
Right.
of letting light in and stuff too. But I know that's always a huge argument. Like, people are talking about brands and fight brands, almost like trucks. I'm like, dude, it's just what works good. I feel like is what you use, right?
That's it. And if you're like, we started out using Vortex. They've been shipped off to Vortex a couple times for warranty repair stuff, and we got rid of it. But in the grand scheme of things, if somebody's building a hunting rifle, I'm like, go to the Vortex.
Yeah.
Like if
They
that's the
look
most
very
affordable.
good.
Yeah, they look good. They're affordable. If it breaks, they're gonna fix it.
I always just ran like a 6 to, I think, I don't know, something 18 by 50. I think most of my stuff.
Yeah, with
like,
In fact, that's the only thing I'd say. Like, if you're a hunter, like 50 millimeter objective is what you want to be able to gather the most light.
the most light, yeah, especially when you're low light conditions, trying to
Right.
shoot something that's 5:45 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I mean, for what they are, they're good rifles. I have some complaints, but Barrett knows about them. That's fine.
yeah, we're one of the privileges of working where we work is we get to call these guys directly anytime we have a gripe or concern, a little bit above the regular concern.
And so, how many of these are actually issued right now? Like,
oh man,
Oh God.
thousands.
Yeah, the whole force.
Yeah.
so, and they're all the exact same
Yeah,
gun.
look just like that.
And when are you swapping out barrels? Like, what scenarios are you swapping caliber bullets?
So, 338 is the anti-material cartridge. It's a armor-piercing incendiary. So, if I could take a barrel out on a mission, and this would be for reaching out and touching people. And if I had a vehicle that needed to be interdicted at any point in time, you could swap the barrel out. And usually when we swap barrels, we typically don't have to change our zeros very much. Maybe a minute of angle, so about an inch at 100 yards. That's easy to correct with a holdover. Or you can change your turret, and then you can put your 300 Norma barrel back on. Same thing with the 7.62, because the Army has lots of 7.62. We have very little 300 Norma.
Yeah.
So what are you shooting with 7.62? Same thing, just the shorter distance?
Pretty much, yeah. Barrel shorter, the round doesn't go as far.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the most common round right now, right?
Yeah. And we have plenty of that. We have the 338 Norma mag is non-existent at this point.
We have 440 rounds.
That's it?
That's it. At our sniper school.
Yeah.
We have 440 rounds in our mag, which is our vault.
Yeah.
So when students are shooting, what are they 7.62?
Oh yeah. All day. We've got a range being built. The guard is building a range at the school, or at Camp Robinson, which is going to be our dedicated sniper range. And so that's when we'll start introducing the 300 Norma mag and stuff like that. Because we right now the force wasn't ready. The force wasn't really ready. I don't think. I don't want to say the force wasn't ready. We weren't able to use it at the base we currently have, right? Because we had to move back to Robinson. We used to go to Chaffee, which is a little bit north, and we had a lot more distance to play with. But at Robinson, our sniper range that we currently use only goes out to like 1,200.
And there's also an SDZ.
Yeah, it's like a danger zone. So like even though we can see that far, sometimes we can't shoot that far.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Even if the range ends here, there has to be so much fallout behind the range because there's no berms, there's nothing to catch the bullets. So they have determined that the Norma mag has way too far of a fallout and would bleed into a roadway. So we're not even allowed to shoot it on the range we're at. So
Gotcha. Well, how are you practicing?
We're going to go to Twisted Barrel up in Arkansas. That's where we're headed today. So Twisted Barrel, they got plenty of land. So we practice here at Long Range Alley down in Frierson.
Yeah.
And then we go to Twisted Barrel when we need to do get really spun up on PRS, or if we got a comp coming up, or like with this rifle, we've got to really, some extended long range stuff.
I hear rumors of a range like that getting started around here, but
yeah,
that would be nice because every time we need to do any kind of serious practice, it's a 3.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because the facility's so good.
I think it's Red River is supposed to be doing.
Are they talking about expanding longer?
I think they're building a long range.
Yeah, I heard they were building one over there on the Bossier side.
Because he has a long one, but it's not just like a long hunting rifle range. Like it was 100 yards.
100 yards.
Yeah, 100 yards.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do an outdoor one.
That'd be nice.
But
well, so what does it look like from a competitive standpoint? Like in a competition like this, like you said, you're setting up and just shooting, right?
Right.
In this one, but like in a regular one, like a lot of these other matches you're doing, like what does it look like preparation wise and like competition wise? Like being that these people are coming from all over the place, you prepare different. Does like what does that look like?
So typically, I don't know that we really prepare any differently, because like I said, everything's always like it's different.
So it's a surprise a lot of times, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's a surprise a lot of times, but what we will do is make sure that we're in shape.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you getting some cardio in? Like we lifting. Like that's what I'm getting at.
Physically, we make sure, like, hey man, make sure we're in shape. Make sure we're running. Make sure we're trying to go to the range and work together.
Do y'all ruck a lot?
So
I do.
He does. He started because of the potential for USASOC stuff. I'm still battling a knee injury.
Yeah.
So honestly, I mean, I think I'm at the point to where I could, but I've tried to run a mile. I can't do it. Like my knee won't allow me to like actually run. And I'm only like 6 or 7 months post-op. So they told me 12-month total.
So you still got some time. I mean, yeah.
I got some time, but I'm very impatient, So like every week I'm like, I put my stuff on. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'll get a quarter mile down the road. I'm like, not today. Not happening today. But hopefully soon, get back to that, do some rucking, and we'll, depending upon what the match entails, we'll usually talk about maybe what kind of equipment we need to bring, what we're going to change. With Mammoth, you got to think about weight.
Pretty much all of it you have to think about.
That's
you
true.
you could bring the kitchen sink with you at Nick's match at Real World, but it's not going to do good to your physical fitness. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be. I mean, even Dan doesn't carry everything.
Yeah.
You know, and he could, but it's kind of, you know, the shooting, the physical fitness kind of reaches, you know, a level that you can sustain. The shooting reaches a level you can sustain. You could get a little bit better. You can definitely get worse if you don't go to the range. But a lot of it is definitely the teamwork, which I'll touch on here in a second. But equipment, you have to have all your stuff set up to where it can be easily deployed and used when they do throw that, you know, wrench in your plan. You know, how can you react to it? He knows where all of my stuff is in my pack. I know where his is. And as far as, you know, teamwork goes, that's really kind of what our strength is we've known each other a long time. We pretty much always shoot together. We're on the fire department together with the same days off, so schedules line up great most times. And we've shot enough together that I know what he's doing when he's doing it. I don't even have to look at him and check on him because I already know he's doing it. I don't need him to spot me if I have a good steady position, but he knows me well enough that if I ask for his help, I said, hey, I need you to come over here and spot me. He doesn't argue. He doesn't, you know, are you sure? Okay, I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll come over there and lend you some help. And that's really the most important thing with the team sniper matches is knowing your partner and being able to work together.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree with that. I think if you're, which I think Dan is kind of, you know, we talked a little bit about Dan here and there, but he's a testament to that as far as like, I don't know how many partners he's gone through right now, but he's finally found one that works, and it's gonna. I think they're gonna be a great.
Well,
team.
I immediately when you said that, I'm thinking, well, that gives you competitive edge, right? Because you work together
all the time.
Twice, right?
Yep.
And you're shooting together, so like that helps a lot. Where these guys might be like 2 states away, and they only get to meet up and shoot maybe once a month, and to go compete in 6 months or whatever. That changes a lot, you know.
There's one exception to that.
Yeah,
What's that?
The best shooters we've ever shot against was Sean Murphy and Greg Hamilton.
Yeah.
One lives in Georgia, the other one lives in Montana, and they win every team sniper match they go to.
How often they practice together though?
Never. They
they're just
I
that
think they each have I think they said they have an hour commute to work every day, and they call each other, and they run each other through hypotheticals on the phone, and they talk and like, hey,
Yeah, that's still a hypothetical.
Now
That's not even.
I know, but at
Real
the time,
practice.
one of them worked for Night Force, the other one worked for Proof Research Barrels. So they had, you know, like
They had some industry help.
they had industry help, but
Had a lot of
still,
range time.
like to win. I mean everything. I've never seen them go to. I've never seen a second place trophy from those guys. Every match we've shot against them, we've lost. We've gotten close sometimes, but close don't count. You know, like and.
We've gotten second place to those guys before by 25% of the points. That's how bad the margin is.
Yeah, they
I mean,
don't usually just.
You don't have to
They
worry
don't
about them.
squeak out.
You don't have to worry about them in this
They wear
upcoming
us
one
out.
or the other one, right?
I looked at the list. They're not coming. They're not on the.
To be
they're
honest,
not on the
at
competitor list.
At the real world one though, I want them there. Like you know, a lot of people like to see them not show up, and I'm like, no, man, I want.
Yeah.
Push you.
Yeah, because and then you know,
Well, I want to beat them.
I wanna beat them.
while they're still at their best.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if they fizzle out and they don't practice, and then we beat them, you know, 5 years down the road, it's not the same.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. You can only
Yeah.
be the GOAT for so long. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is crazy to think about, man. That's just, I mean, unless you're just that, I guess, if you're that well read into exactly what you're talking about and you're having a conversation, but still just to create those hypotheticals and say, I shot this and I'm thinking it was that or
yeah.
X, Y, Z. And you're like, well, actually, it could have been, and just, oh, yeah, that sounds crazy to me, you know?
They're so good at it that they do sniper team dynamic clinics for SOCOM,
Yeah.
so Special Operations Command. So, yeah, active Green Berets are paying them to go there and teach them what they figured out in competition.
Yeah. Competition does translate to real world.
Well, that's the biggest question, right? Because some people may say that who don't understand. That's why you bringing it to life right here makes a lot of sense, because Dan can tell me that, and I love Dan.
Yeah.
He's my boy, but still, he's not active duty. He's not doing this as a job.
Right.
You know, it's a hobby. He's extremist, you know,
Yeah.
in
Right.
certain, you know, so like when you tell me, I'm like, okay, well, it means a little bit more coming from you guys because you're applying it every day and you're training people who are actually going out and deploying it, you know?
Yeah, and I think that, you know, there's obviously competition, you have some gameisms, like everybody's going to try to game a certain stage or do this or that, and there are equipment things that you might not use in combat, but all in all, being able to deploy your rifle and do holdovers and call wind and this that on a clock where you've got
What's a holdover? Just so
holdover is like, instead of dialing 3 mils, I just hold 3 mils in my rifle.
Okay, got you.
Determining the range.
Yeah.
And
So,
knowing how far your bullet.
I probably should know that, but I've never
no,
had
you're
to.
good. But like, so doing all those things under pressure on the clock and making impacts, it has to have a real world application. You know what I mean? Like that, it doesn't just stop there. Just because those targets are steel, it's almost like you're going to fall back to the level of training that you're proficient at, right?
Yeah, it's just like if you get in a fight or flight thing
100%.
situation, muscle memory, you're immediately going to do what you know. Like you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you're going to pull guard, like, you know, or whatever. Like, you know, it's just one of those things that's going to happen, and that's just instinctively because you've done it so many times.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's where it helps us. You know, we always stay sharp. So if I feel like if something, you know, if we were to get deployed or something like that were to happen, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be better off than everybody else, but I think that muscle memory wise, me and him are going to be fine. I don't see any problems.
Yeah. That's when you said holdover. Now I was thinking about it. Like when I'm shooting, like I had a stand where I had like a 300-yard shot, and I'd pull it to just above the back. You know, like old school, like just above the back. That's rule of thumb, man. Right above the back,
100%.
drop.
Yeah.
But I'm shooting 300 Win Mag. I mean, it's not.
It ain't got a lot of drop.
It's not. Well, and that deer's not moving far anyway.
You
So you
ain't
get
lying. That's what I used to. I used to hunt with 308, and I got tired of them running off.
Me too. I hunted with 270. I got tired of it. Everybody swore by it. Like 270 was lighter, faster, but I was just like, I got a 300 and killed 3 or 4. I was like, this is so much easier.
They never take a step.
Yeah, and you're shooting a good bullet. You're not going to blow out a lot of meat anyway. So that was
Exactly.
always a big concern, I guess. But
Yeah.
well, what have you guys seen in like bullet technology? Is it pretty much like
No way.
it continue to evolve? Or?
Oh, it's really evolving right
Right.
now with cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know, you know, like tires are an old idea, but how much we've improved tires.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know,
yeah.
like just with the way that the things that they're making them out of, you know, like the little changes
Kevlar,
in geometry, it just greatly improves it. Same thing with bullets. You know, it's an old idea. You know, you're taking a piece of lead swaged in copper and you're sending it out into the air and you're letting gravity and wind pull it into target. But we can aerodynamically design them better so they maintain their velocity and their point forward momentum better. We're having more consistent powder that's propelling it so we can have, you know, tighter velocity deviations. Ammunition has come a long way just in the 10 or so years we've been doing this.
And you have to shoot the same ammunition too as everyone else, right? On this,
Well, the military.
in military competitions,
But it's the military. You know, they choose good ammo. We've never really had a complaint with the ammunition they provide, especially sniper ammo that's considered to be match grade.
Yeah.
You know, the bullet that they chose for this rifle is it's made by Berger, and it's their hybrid design, 215 grains. That's the top of the spear as far as bullet technology goes right now. That it won't be outdated for a long time. So you know, they do a good job of choosing everything. So I mean, when we first became snipers, the best that we had was the Alpha 191 300 Win Mag.
Yeah.
It was a 190 grain bullet, and it was supersonic out to about 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards. And just in the short amount of time, we can now take a weapon that weighs the same size profile, and now we can shoot a mile.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's insane. What does the recoil look like on one of these?
not
As bad as you think.
It's so crazy how that's changed so much in the past 20 years
Well,
on everything.
Yeah. Well, and the rifle being heavier, you know, makes a big difference.
What does it weigh?
Probably about 19, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without a suppressor on it. With a suppressor and everything, it gets up a little north of 20.
What's a scenario like? What does it look like when, just say, I know there's no scenario that it's the same. Like, say you're deployed, and then they're sending us a sniper. Is it going to be a team?
Yeah. So it would be a team.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of people.
A lot of people think it's just lone
Dude,
survivor, like
it's so
or whatever,
funny,
just
man.
one person. You know.
So like typically a team now is 3 people too. It's
Okay.
not 2. So, but a lot of people, fire department or just buddies, are like, hey man, so like if something's going down, like, are they going to call you up and like tell you like, hey, we got a target? Like, no, hey man, I'm not that guy, right? We're not that guy. We're National Guard sniper school instructors. We shoot professionally, but
if shit hit the fan,
so like if there is
shit would have to hit a lot of fans.
It would have to hit a lot of fans. But let's just say all that shit hits those fans.
Hits fans.
So what would happen is that we would plan. They would more than likely they're not going to give us like, hey, it's this guy, right? Hey, we've got activity going on in this area. We need you guys to set up overwatch and reconnaissance and blah blah blah. So the main role of a sniper is not necessarily to pull the trigger. It's reconnaissance, right? Because me or Ben can kill a lot more people with a radio calling in mortars or artillery than we can with a sniper rifle. But they would send us out in teams, and honestly, I would probably rather go with more than 3 people if I can, because you're going to need, there's going to be a guy on the rifle, there's going to be a guy that's resting, there might be another guy on the radio, you're going to have somebody security for the building, watching a stairwell, watching whatever. Maybe you had to tie some people up. So when it comes to sniper teams, one guy going out, I mean, if you want to do that,
it's
but
not real world application.
It's not real world. I mean, minimum 2.
It's great for the movies.
Oh, it is good for the movies. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, it's not ever. I don't see it being like that unless your whole team's dead and then it's just you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which then you're just surviving at that point.
I'd grab the radio first.
Yeah.
But.
No, I want to bring up all these little.
No, man,
are there any other things that you hear all the time that you have to correct people on, like scenarios or just?
Oh man, I think
design.
I think that's a main one.
Yeah, everyone's favorite thing in the world is ghillie suits, but that's objectively, I think, the most uncomfortable thing you can do as a sniper.
It is
to dress like a bush.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that too. So what?
All the bugs and pine straw touching your face constantly, and you crawling and.
I think
through water and mud.
I think that the thing about being a sniper is that you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's the main thing, because it's not uncomfortable to lay, sit in any kind of position, lay in any kind of position for an extended period of time. It's not comfortable to, wear that ghillie suit or do this or do that. So a ghillie suit is honestly a very small part of what we do. Like, most people think sniper, wear a ghillie suit. Like, I have not worn a ghillie suit in I don't know how many years. The military competitions are an exception. They'll always have a stalk, right? So you'll always have to ghillie up, do those things. And we still teach that at school, and the students make their own, and we show them how to do it. But
it depends on terrain.
It does.
All types of stuff. That's not applicable.
It's not a one size fits all, right?
Yeah.
If you're moving, as a forward element of an infantry company, you're probably not going to ghillie up. But if you have to watch something for several days, and camouflage is your best friend.
Yeah.
So it's a time and a place. But that's why the sniper logo is our mascot's the snake. The snake doesn't care that the ground is wet, that it's cold outside. It goes through the grass all the same. So that's kind of where you have to adopt that mentality and just be one with the ground, I guess. Just
embrace the suck. That's just all it is.
Yeah, I just got back from teaching up there in Little Rock, and I left them right before they graded out of stocks. But they had a lot of guys when they do their ghillie wash. It's kind of a rite of passage for a sniper, and you go through sniper school. It's where you get a brand new ghillie suit, and it looks like it just came out of the package. You tie a bunch of brand new fibers. Well, that stuff doesn't look like the way the earth looks. You have to get it real nasty. So you do the ghillie wash, which is, a several hour long physical event, dragging your body while wearing the ghillie suit through muddy trenches, swimming underneath in pond scum, alligator rolls, having your buddy drag you on a gravel road to really break in those fibers,
Man.
So I left them with that, and we kind of trained stalks for a few days, and then I came up here to prepare for this match. But
that sounds fun.
Oh, it's a blast.
Y'all
for
done
us.
it too?
Oh, we love it.
You've done it.
Had to do it. I hated it.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yes, right.
Terrible.
Yeah, it
sounds like a Spartan, but way worse.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it's nasty. And you're doing jumping jacks, and it's called jute, the stuff you tie on. And I just remember I was pretty certain that it was like that it was sewer water that they had us crawling through,
man.
and it's just hitting me in the mouth every time. I'm like, oh man, it was bad.
Usually the students come down with pink eye. For like
Yeah, something.
we have a whole bunch of
We make sure we wash them
Drops,
off
yeah.
and try to get them,
Spray them off real good.
yeah, we spray them off pretty good. We make them clean themselves so they don't get too messed up. And we don't use sewer water. We actually have a lake that has a little runoff area now. So
Yeah.
one student swallowed some water during the ghillie wash, and he had to get some like
I bet he
anti-diarrhea
did.
medicine.
I bet he did. Yeah,
He had the
it's still lake water.
Oh yeah, man. You can't drink that
Might have
shit.
had a
No.
parasite.
Yeah, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, before we wrap this thing up, is there anything else y'all want to mention or plug or talk about other than this upcoming comp? When is this competition?
It starts Friday,
Saturday. Friday, Saturday.
So it's
Sunday.
coming up.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
y'all will be there, or how long is it? 2 days.
Yeah, it's 2 days.
So you'll be done with that by the time this comes out, because we're always like a week or so out
Yeah.
on these things. But so by the time people hear this or watch this, they'll be able to maybe
See how we did.
See
yeah.
how you did. Yeah.
Unless we did terrible, and then you won't see any posts on Facebook. No, we'll still post it.
Hey, pull that podcast. We'll do another one.
No, we're excited for this because this is going to be it's really out of our element. It tests new field of shooting that we haven't quite stepped into yet. So I think we're both really looking forward to it. The only thing really, not necessarily, I guess a little bit of a plug. I talked about the business venture that we're trying to set up, and so we both have a real passion for teaching, and we've been kicking around for years. Like, man, we should, you see Ben said it before, and I've started, I quote him a lot on it, but like he'll tell you, like, there's no shortage of people that don't know what they're talking about that can't wait to get on a podium and tell people about it,
Yeah.
And so the same thing with jiu-jitsu, right? If your instructor in jiu-jitsu is a blue belt, you're never going to get better than a blue belt, right? So why would you? So anyway, I say that to say we've been worried more about trying to build up our knowledge base, trying
Gotcha.
to establish a pedigree, and so that we don't have imposter syndrome when we decide, like, hey, okay, I think we're going to start teaching. And we have taught some people here and there just privately, but we're working on a business venture where we're gonna put on some classes online, and then they'll be available on like Patreon or something
Gotcha.
like that. And so it's something that we can consistently build on as we learn more stuff, they learn more stuff. It keeps us, because we both have 2 kids, we got 2 jobs, we got families, and so it allows us to take some time, shoot a bunch of content, release it on a schedule, and people can learn all these things. And so Veil Training Group is the name of our company. You can look it up on Instagram if you want, but it's
Nice.
I'm hoping within the next, I'm not going to push our time, but I'd say the next year, 2, that you could start looking for some stuff coming out, because I feel like, I feel like it would be a disservice to us for all the work we put in to not give back and teach people, because kids are some of the best learners, especially, and women are great shooters too.
That's what I hear all the
They are
time. I
great
really hear that
shooters.
all the time.
Yeah. And so,
My wife, she was SWAT, and she's Army veteran, and
Well,
she's like, I'll kick your ass. And I haven't shot against her yet. I'm like, no, I'm gonna kick your ass, but she'll probably look at me.
yeah, the thing is like, men, we always come in with what?
Ego, man.
Ego, dude.
Wide open.
It gets to us, but kids and women are great with taking instruction usually. And men, all you have to do is let them fail. Once they fail, they'll learn most of the time, right? So we want to set something up to where we can teach, and I hope that we put a lot of work into it. We're going to continue to put more work into it and really break it down to where, like, it's not just like, okay, today we're going to shoot 1,000 yards. Today on this video, we're going to show you how to build a competition rifle based on what kind of competition you're going into.
Got you.
From start to finish. From
That's
muzzle brake
that's better too, because you're providing value. You're not just saying, this is how you shoot.
Yeah.
Check the wind here. Do this. Line up.
Well,
by the way, have you heard about the new Leopold, whatever the fuck?
Yeah. Thanks to my sponsor, Leopold.
And that's the other thing is we're not plugged by anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one owns us.
Yeah, well, the Army owns us, but we can't plug that. I'm not a recruiter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that way people can go and actually learn about what they want to learn about. If they feel like I think a lot of people get lost because they feel like they can do something, and if they sign up for a class, because those classes are expensive, like a 2-day class, and they might already know a lot of that stuff. So if we put everything that we have learned over, a 12-year career, just individual career, 24 years combined, and we take notes all the time, like, hey, I think this would be a good subject to go on. And you can make an hour video just on leveling a scope and setting it up for a different rifle.
Yeah.
And just put it all out there, everything that we can possibly come up with. I think that would give some value.
Yeah.
But, like you said, we would like to teach people in person and run classes. We just don't have time.
Yeah.
We would rather spend that time going out and traveling and shooting a competition and learning new things that we could use to give back with. So.
And our kids are getting older now. Both of our sons are getting old enough to where they have like 22 LR matches, and so we're looking forward to teaching them and getting them involved in that kind of thing. And to preface, though, just for these classes, one of our pet peeves, like, it will not be called anything sniper. It might be called precision long range engagements, but like anything that I teach you outside of sniper school is not sniper related. Like, you can only be a sniper if you go to sniper school. Yeah. Or, if you're SWAT, you go to SWAT sniper. Okay, cool. All those things. But it is when people start teaching like sniper classes.
I got you, and they've never actually been one, and then also you're not going to
sniper school.
It's just like saying you're like Green Beret or Navy SEAL or something. You got to go do it to say you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a profession, not a skill set.
Right. Yeah. So I think what we're planning on taking over the long range portion of that, but we don't want to just limit it, right? So we want to bring in friends of ours that are pistol shooters. Guys like Colton Hill, like you were talking about, we had been talking about him. Hunter Freeland's one of them, and bringing in some guys like Luke Elter, some of the other schoolhouse guys that we work with that, maybe they're
subject matter experts.
Yeah, they're subject matter experts on stalking or ghillie suits or this and that. And so being able to bring guys in that are SMEs at something, because that's my, I don't want to teach you how to shoot a pistol. I know how to shoot a pistol, kinda, like good enough to do well at these matches. But I bought a staccato because I don't know how to shoot. That's and so it helps me. But being able to offer a multitude of things to people, I think would be beneficial to just to be able to reach everybody.
Yeah.
And this isn't to discredit any other instructors, but like if you're wanting to learn from someone, the guy that's teaching you has to be able to do what he is teaching you at a high level.
That's the biggest, dude. We could talk about that in
jiu-jitsu
fighting
world,
or just fight in general. Like 100%. I mean, how many of these coaches and God, like.
Well, I mean,
it gets bad.
Anybody that is personable and can captivate an audience and hold people's attention can be a teacher or an instructor, but to be able to know all the things that you did wrong, and because you've overcome them, makes it that much more obvious when someone else is doing it right in front of you.
Yeah, and you're not giving them a sense of false hope or misdirection because you don't know any better because you're only achieved a certain level. You know what I mean?
Right. And you've never put yourself out there to be challenged.
Yeah, that too.
I mean? So like, and that's what even through the sniper school, I tell those students, because I watch them fail every class I go, and I tell them, I'm like, hey man, y'all might not know this, but I failed sniper school. I failed the first time, came back, and I was like, and I'm not saying like look at me now, but I'm like, from like, you think that failing's the worst thing that's going to happen, but like when you come back, you're just getting double the knowledge that all the other students get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I try to build them up and not let failure be something that makes you quit. Like you should, if you're trying to do anything, especially when it comes to shooting, to me, you should be challenging yourself, because you're teaching someone, especially if we're talking about pistol, you know, like you're teaching somebody a skill set that they may have to use one day. And like we talked about, like you're going to fall back to your lowest level of training. So if you go to a concealed carry class and, you know, some goofball teaches you something and then that's all you ever do, like, brother, good luck whenever it hits the fan in the streets. You better hope you're within 7 yards like that little piece of paper was.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, just to bring it back, like if we've gone through all this effort to build our reputation and pedigree, if anyone's going to work for us, they're going to be able to be that expert.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and we got some people lined up. It's going to be good. Just, you know, it's a challenge to juggle everything, to build something from nothing, while also juggling your family and your jobs and everything. But it's worth it. So we're going to,
you know what that's like, building this.
Yeah, dude. It's full time.
Yeah,
it's full time. But hey, it's worth it, man.
Yeah,
you keep doing it because it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, guys. Well, I've had a great time today, man. I appreciate it. I guess we'll just end on that.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.